Today we're going to talk about fear. In this quick ebook, we're going to teach you how to handle fear, notice the signs of fear as it relates to reaching your goals. A lot of us are not reaching our maximum potential because we're letting fear paralyze us. In this guide, we're going to walk you through the steps of conquering your fear. Fear defined. Fear defined is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. This is defined by the Webster Dictionary. Let's pause and let you think about this definition. Oftentimes, when people think of fear, they think of things that people normally fear. So the visuals above shows some of the things that people will honestly admit that they have a fear of. People have a fear of being able to afford their bills and their lifestyle. They'll talk to folks about that. People have a natural fear of monsters or clowns. There was a big epidemic earlier in 2016 about the scare of clowns. People are scared naturally of roller coasters and things that may spin them around or take them upside down. And then people are also fearful of people, people who gossip, people who take jabs at one another, people who are demeaning. So these are the things that people will openly admit and say, I am fearful. I don't want to be placed in this situation. I don't want to address or be around these things. So, what happens when you fear yourself? What happens when you actually look in the mirror and you see all of that greatness standing in front of you and you are deathly afraid to take the next step or the first step to get you where you need to go? What happens when you fear you? A lot of times people won't admit that they have a huge fear of success and prosperity, and they fear themselves. We can talk about clowns, we can talk about our bills, we can talk about all of those things that were mentioned on the other page. But what about the issue of us? What about when we fear ourselves? First, we must identify that we are fearing ourselves. Here are some key indicators that fear may exist in you inwardly: laziness, not being able to start a project, the inability to start. Not only the inability to start, but the inability to continue. Some of us will get a great start, but we self sabotage along the way. We're unfocused. Everything else is important other than the thing we need to be working on. We become a dream watcher. So we're watching everybody else. We're watching what everybody else is doing on Facebook. We're watching what everybody else is doing on Instagram, on Snapchat, on TV, and we become a dream watcher. And then after we become a dream watcher, we become a dream killer because we see that our dreams are not coming to pass. So we start killing everybody else's dreams because we're watching. Then we become stagnant. We don't move at all, or we stay in the same position without trying to seek the next level. And then we always have a negative attitude of what if? What if I'm actually successful? What if I lose all of my money? What if I make a fool of myself? What if I embarrass myself? What if I embarrass my family? What if? And oh, before you say this is not you, let's pause for a moment to take a self check examination. Because before we move on, we must first admit that we see ourselves in some of the indicators mentioned on the prior page. Before you're able to move on, you have to know and you have to believe and you have to see that you're holding yourself back, and you have to be ready to take the next step forward. If you don't, you're no better than the folks in the picture above, with your head in the sand, thinking that you're going to be able to accomplish something, your goals, your dreams, and you're not doing anything but staying in the same position with your hand and head in the sand, buried, not moving forward at all. Denial is a key sign of fear and self-sabotage and not reaching your goal. Hint, it has its own page. Now I must say, fear has its place. Some fear is healthy. Sometimes it takes fear to spur and push you to the next level. Sometimes, just as the picture here, your greatness is on the other side of this tangled web. But in order to get there, you're going to have to walk a very tight rope and have some faith and confidence that you can get there. However, unmanaged fear is extremely unhealthy. It will fester and it will start as fear and it will begin to create its own world for you. Make sure that you manage your fear. Now that we've defined fear, now that we've identified fear, now that we know that some fear is healthy, now that we know we need to manage our fear, here are ways to make fear, or I should say unhealthy fear, a non-factor. The first thing you need to do is move. Get up and stop being lazy and make your first step. Move. Know that it's present and aggressively manage it. Not passively, but aggressively. You're going to have to aggressively manage your fear. Anytime someone is going in for a procedure and they're chronically or deathly ill, the treatment at the medical facility is aggressive. They don't give them a pill to put on their tongue and send them home, but they give them rounds and rounds and rounds of aggressive IV medication. And similar to your goals and your dreams, you cannot allow fear to stop you. So you're going to have to manage it, know that it's there, and aggressively take care of it. Know where you want to go and don't downplay it. A lot of times we have very egregious goals, and instead of talking about those goals, we'll minimize those goals. So instead of saying that one day I want to be a seven-figure earner, we'll minimize that and say, I just want a steady job, or I just want to get to X amount of money. But if your goal is a certain thing, then go for your goal. Stop shortchanging yourself. If your goal is to own your own business, be a CFO, be a CEO, don't settle by being the manager. Create a plan of action. Anything that I teach is always going to tie back to a POA. You cannot do anything successfully without having a plan for it. You need to write a plan of action that is going to help you reach your goals and to manage your fear. That plan of action is going to be your manual and your guide that keeps you on your journey. Move. Yes, I said it again. Move. Because halfway down this journey, you're going to get your plan of action. Some of us are very great writers. We'll write all these things down that we're going to do and accomplish, and it will sit and have no movement made on it. So you're going to have to move once you create that plan of action. You're going to have to implement that plan of action, and then you're going to have to continuously move through that plan of action in order to be successful. The path to good seems very hard, but really there's a direct shot if you can look at the visual I've provided. Going into this maze, a person can get tied up. They can get in roadblocks in terms of finding their way in and out. But the path to good is generally laid out where you can get from one end to the next. If you go into this maze here, as the example, it's very easy to see where the roadblocks are, come out of that channel, and get back on course. But the road to great, the road to purpose, is not going to be as easy as the road to good. Again, a lot of times when we are addressing fear or addressing our goals, we go for the lower end. So we go for good. But if we want to get to great, we have to know that there are going to be some twists and turns to get there. And fear will be one of the twists and the turns. But you're going to have some patience. You're going to have to be able to go through some pain. You're going to have to be able and okay with making mistakes. You're going to have to be okay with the journey. Once you are okay with the journey, you will get to your outcome, which is success. But you cannot cause fear or let fear cause you not to make your first step on the road to success. Many people have toolboxes, but today we're going to talk about a brave box. You're going to have to examine what's in your brave box. For some folks in the physical, to protect their homes, in their brave box they have mace, they have bats, they have guns, they have different things to protect their family. What do you have in your brave box to protect your dreams? What are you going to be able to pull out of your brave box when you face that giant that's going to tell you that you cannot get to the other side of success? When that fear is going to creep in and tell you this is a waste of your time. What tools are you going to have in your box to keep you motivated? What tools are you going to have in your box that's going to remind you why you started your journey? One of the things that I think you definitely need to have in your brave box is a journal. Journaling is very helpful because it gives you a roadmap as to where you are going and where you have come from. So on those days when you're feeling beat down, defeated, and wondering why you even started this journey, you can go back and read your journal. And what I suggest is that you write a love letter to yourself. A love letter explaining why you have decided to put yourself first, why you have decided to put yourself on the agenda, why you have decided to take such a large leap of faith, and why you are not going to allow anything to stop you from reaching your success. To have an accountability partner, someone you can call on when you're at your wit's end, and someone who can encourage you and motivate you on. You don't need someone who's going to throw a pity party with you, who is going to co-sign with you, but you need someone who is going to challenge you, and challenge you even when you don't want to hear it. So, I'm going to ask this question again. What's in your brave box? Again, here are some things that should be in your brave box. I gave you some ideas on the other page, but you definitely want to have some courage. If you have big goals, you're going to definitely have to pack some courage. You're going to have self-motivation. You're going to have to know how to motivate yourself when nobody else is motivating you. When no one else is encouraging you, when no one else is saying good job, you're going to have to know how to motivate yourself. You're going to have a level of resilience. You're going to get knocked down, but you got to get back up, and you got to get back up quickly. You're not going to be able to cry all night. You're going to have to be able to cry for 10 minutes and get back up and start riding the horse again. You're going to have tunnel vision. You can't be distracted. In order to conquer your fear and get to your goals, you're going to have tunnel vision on that goal and make sure that you're not distracted. I mentioned the accountability partner on the other page. And the most important thing on this page is you're going to have silence. Silence is golden. Too often, we talk about everything we plan on doing instead of doing it. And sometimes we need to quiet ourselves and, like Nike says, just do it. Everybody does not need to know what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it. We need to make sure that we get it done. And then we can talk about it all day long once it's accomplished. Celebrate small wins. When you write out your plan of action to conquer your fears and to get to your goals, you need to be able to celebrate small wins. So make sure you build in some incremental goals inside of your bigger, larger plans of goals to celebrate your success on your way to your journey. Similar to pregnancy, your journey starts with a seed and excitement. When a woman finds out that she's pregnant, she is typically very excited and very happy. But instantly, her body starts to change, and she has to get used to carrying the seed and carrying the dream or carrying the prize, in which is, in this case, her baby. Through this process, there are a lot of pains, aches, and things that will cause this woman's body to change. There may be morning sickness. There are going to be stretch marks because this woman is going to be stretched in ways that she's never been stretched before. To get over fear and to reach your goals, you're going to be stretched in ways you've never been stretched before. You're going to have pain that you've never experienced before. You're going to be uncomfortable throughout this process. And right before you walk into your purpose, typically you're going to have your most painful season. That's when you know you're in the labor room. When a woman is in labor, she goes through a horrible amount of pain, sometimes very unbearable, to the point where she has to be medicated. But what's on the other side of the pain makes the experience very beautiful. And so you're going to have to think in your experience beautiful. Your other side of your pain is going to be your purpose. My recommendation to you is to keep going, follow the prescribed steps, and make sure you put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Remember why you started this journey and why you need to finish. And of course, stay on the course. Here are a few quotes that'll help you along your journey of conquering your fear and also reaching your goals. Share this ebook with your family and friends and add it to your Brave box. Thank you for watching, and I want to leave this on the final note. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Arthur Marion Wilson. So, as you go on your journey, let's conquer fear and let's reach our goals. Until next time, love you always, Missy.